Why do you like potatoes? Potatoes are really easy to grow with the potential to grow hundreds of pounds of food with very little input in labor or seed potatoes. They are extremely versatile as a food. There is no end to the number of ways you can prepare them. I heard years ago that peels were where all the nutrition was. Don't know if it's true or not, but my daughter was small at the time, so I thought I'd get some peel into her by leaving the skin on when I made homemade fries, and we all loved them that way. I also put the slices in ice water before I put them into the hot oil to fry. For some reason this keeps an irresistible fresh flavor. I found this out by accident, but decades later won't use another way. Don't know if it's skins or ice water, but it's probably both. Need both steps, but it's really worth it. Haven't made them in years or even thought about it until now in a very long time. Daughter's 40 now but still lives with me. Have to ask her if she remembers and perhaps get some potatoes, lol. Bratkartoffeln was one of my favorite things my Bavarian host mom made when I lived there. I'm American. I don't know what the fuck made them so special compared to our fried potatoes, but my god, they were just perfect every time. I could eat a whole pan of them. Not all carbs are created equal. Baked potatoes will generally be slowly digested starch, which will keep you full for much longer than the equivalent amount of sugar, and can contribute to healthy gut flora. The skins are a good source of fiber too, which is also a carb, but shouldn't contribute any calories unless your appendix works. My grandma liked to make mashed potatoes because that's one of the things my grandfather could eat without his teeth. Every time she makes them I get to mash them in front of the TV while my grandpa gets angry at whatever he's watching at time. Sometimes she lets me season them and add bits of meat, then we'd have them for afternoon snack along with instant noodles, soup and rice plus leftover food from yesterday or the day before. Sentimental value, I guess. They do. When I was a kid, just finally old enough to start cooking and be left unattended, I'd get to stay up as late as I wanted over summer vacation from school. I would make instant mashed potatoes and instant gravy like every night for a midnight snack. Sure, they were super basic and probably not amazing, but it was the best summer where I finally had so much independence. The flavor pairs super well with many seasonings. Plus, no matter what kind of potato, I bet you that 50% of meals go wonderful with the potato. Here's a baked fry recipe that I've modified over a couple of years to get the best fry I've probably ever had. Preheat oven to 400 degrees. If your oven does convection bake, do that to same temp. Scrub the dirt off the russet. Redskin or Yukon Gold. Best in my opinion is russet. Potatoes obviously. Then cut them to their desired thickness, and let them soak in a bowl of hot water for 5–10 minutes. It gets the starch off the potato for more crispness. Strain it and then refill the bowl with more water to get the extra starch off. Strain, set aside. Grab a large baking sheet and lay parchment paper on top so that each side of the pan will get covered with it. Normally when I do more than 7 medium-sized russets I'll use 2 pans. Melt half a stick of salted butter for every pan that you use. 1 pan equals 1/2 stick. And add seasoned salt, garlic powder, onion powder, a pinch of thyme. Rosemary is optional. Gives more of an earthy taste. I normally add as much seasoned salt for the butter to start to turn orangish. Don't put a ton of onion powder into the mix and add a little more garlic powder than you did garlic powder. Mix it all pretty well. Place a decent amount of paper towels over the parchment on the baking sheet and lay some potatoes on top of it and start patting them dry and continue to dry more fries until all are dry. Remove the paper towels and flatten the fries on the baking sheet. Then start spooning the butter mix on top of the fries. Trust me on this one, don't mix the butter with the fries in a bowl since you'll use less butter and won't get as much flavor compared to what I'm doing. Do that until each fry is covered or you run out of butter, Then put them in the oven for about 40 minutes or until the bottoms of the fries become crispier and change color. Then flip the fries to get the other sides crispier. Put on another 20-ish minutes, and then they should be done. It really depends on how done you like fries, but after the time I told you the fries should be cooked thoroughly. Since I'm bored and someone might actually want to read this without feeling like they're going to die, preheat oven to 400, wash potatoes, cut into fries of desired thickness, soak in a bowl of hot water for 10 to 15 minutes, dump out water, rinse with more water, dump water out again, set aside. This process removes starch. Melt half a stick of salted butter in a bowl, add seasoned salt, garlic powder, onion powder, pinch of other seasonings according to preference. Lay out fries on baking sheet covered with parchment paper. Pat them dry with paper towel until they're all dry. Spoon butter mix on top of the fries. Bake for 40 minutes or until bottoms of fries are crispy. Flip fries and bake for another 20 minutes. Anyway, I can get them. I remember having trouble making weight in college and my coach actually went around to all the McDonald's and put my picture up. If you see this man, call this number sort of things. So I ordered a Big Mac combo, large, with an extra large fry and a Dr. Pepper. This was a nice McDonald's. They actually would bring your food to you. I'm sitting there and my coach sits down in front of me and he's like, "Fuck you doing here, boy?" "I'm just getting a salad." He slides my cup over, takes a drink and says, "Tastes really good to be a diet soda." That's when they bring out my order. I'm telling them I didn't order that. I ordered a salad. "Sir, this is what you paid for." What's not to like? They're cheap and nutritious. They're also a blank canvas, so to speak. Just like I wouldn't go to the Louvre to see an empty canvas and a few tubes of paint. I wouldn't eat a plain potato and then go eat half a stick of butter. It's the combinations that make the art, or the great potato dish. Take your pick. Let's pick on the other major dinner starch. Why do you like rice? If I had to eat plain rice, or plain potatoes for the rest of my life, I'd choose the potatoes. They actually taste like something, and there are many varieties that have different flavors and textures. Rice for me is much less diverse. Where it gets interesting is treating the starch as a platform for other flavors. Potato salad, French fries, hash browns, baked potatoes, roasted potatoes, potato chowder, potato pancakes. Jesus H. Christ, I sound like Forrest's very best friend Bubba. You can put a lot of things into rice, and get an incredible diversity from that, but it's all about the additions. You could probably do that with potatoes too. I think I'm going to take a run at making pork fried hash browns for dinner tonight. However, I will not be having potato pudding. Hands down, rice wins that one. Oh yeah, vodka greater than sake. I'm really not a fan of rice wine. This is a better question than it appears on the surface. I will admit that potatoes are quite bland, but they are extremely diverse in the way they can be prepared. Kettle cooked, deep fried, roasted, mashed, you name it. The key of why they are so amazing is that they are only second to chicken in their elite status as a medium of sauce and spice delivery. It's not appealing to squirt delicious ketchup or BBQ sauce or honey mustard or BBQ spices directly into the mouth. But potatoes help us enjoy those excellent flavors with a diverse range of textures. Potatoes are perfect. They are easy to grow, easy to store, easy to prep and easy to cook. Every form of potato is delicious, from the fanciest casseroles to the plainest baked potato. They make a breakfast and dinner much better. Potatoes are filling and contain lots of calories but also a fair amount of nutrients compared with bread and other carbs. I love potatoes. I freaking love potatoes. I even eat them raw. For me, I like the taste, especially when you slather cooked potatoes in salt and butter, but also because they are easy on my teeth and gut. My teeth are crumbling from a genetic disorder and a medication I was on, so potatoes in most forms are easy to eat without risk of breaking more teeth. I also have Crohn's disease and potatoes just seem to digest easier, better than other foods. Well, because it's fun. First, you gotta rip them away from their home. Then you gotta shove them under the water to wash away their sins. Then you gotta hold them over a garbage can as you skin those bastards until every last piece of skin is removed. Then you gotta secure them onto a table so they don't try to get away. Grab your sharpest, biggest knife. Slowly slice them into pieces as you smile and stare in excitement, daydreaming about how delicious they will taste. Then you gotta boil the biggest pot of water you can and drop their sliced parts into it for about 20 minutes. Oh, did I mention you need to do this to all the 8 other siblings sitting there watching your every move in horror? After about 20 minutes of sitting in boiling water, you will remove the parts and add them to a cooking sheet. You will then crank the oven up to 400 degrees and shove that cooking sheet full of cut up chunks to that roasting hot oven. Then remove the cooking sheet from the oven. Make some fry sauce and enjoy the delicious flavors of potatoes that you murdered, you murderer. Edit, grammar. For me, they taste like nothing, so they can be prepared to test like anything. They're like the tofu of the veggie world. Wait, my palate is borked from too many surgeries requiring anesthesia, so the subtle flavor of spuds don't come through. Potatoes gave me everything I have. From the earliest dawn, man has sought potato after potato after potato, and here we stand on the shoulders of potatoes, elevating the potato race with constant advancement of potato medicine, potato finance, potato athletics, the list goes on. I'm proud to eat potatoes, and goddamn it, if that makes me a criminal, put me in a potato-shaped prison and throw away the potato key. Absolute favorite carb, they're in most of my meals. Air-fried potatoes, or roasted, or even mashed or baked, it's all good. I prefer them over pasta, but sometimes that appeals to me too. Anyways, they good with breakfast. Shit, they're even potato bread, for God's sake. There's potatoes in everything. If you bake them, they're the most satisfying food out there, meaning you feel the most full from the amount of food you ate. If you cut and fry them, they're wonderful snack food. You can eat them raw for quick camping calories, and you can chuck them at people you disagree with, if you like. 200 question stats. I'm not sure of the actual numbers. 2%, religious motives 8%, emotional connection with potatoes 40%, versatility 25%, taste 1%, potatoes related to death in some way, personal history, that film of the guy plating potatoes in Mars 9%, yes or why not? 20%, I am Irish, I am Finnish 5%, others. It may not end with 100% because if a comment says that he is British and likes potatoes, it's going to both percent. I was diagnosed pre-diabetic recently, and my nutritionalist told me to start considering potatoes and lentils as carbs now. This put a severe dent in my home cooking, as half my vegetable recipes involved potatoes. So now I have to be judicious of my use of potatoes, and that has made me appreciate them even more. I am from India, and I am a vegetarian, and there are so many ways to make them from all over the country that the recipes are basically endless. To think that this was introduced to the country only about 300 years ago is mind-boggling. Indian vegetarian cooking without the use of potatoes, tomatoes and chilies is almost unimaginable, but all these were foreign vegetables that were introduced by the Europeans. Years back was working for a catering service in New Orleans. This tech company from San Fran had a conference and rented out a catered train. It's not too expensive, pretty cool. They did however hire a world-class chef to cater. This guy's amazing, so he prepares 40 meals and somehow they are still great even with the lack of space to cook. All 40 people finished their plates to the last bite except for one thing, the garlic mashed potatoes. Not one person out of 40 touched it. When I asked, I shit you not, they all had gluten allergies. I say all, but all I asked anyway. Versatile, I can make them fancy, Duchess potatoes, or simple, baked, trendy, parsley back, or old-fashioned, mashed, scalloped or fried, farls or hash browns. So many ways to cook that you can pretty much have potatoes as a side dish for nearly everything. Heck, you can make potato bread and potato candy, too. Comforting. The warmth and creaminess of mashed potatoes in the winter is like eating a hug. Price. Usually can get a 10 hash bag of russets for $5. We sometimes have baked potatoes for dinner topped with chili. Super cheap meal and very satisfying. Edited to add. Potatoes cooked plain with just salt are good enough, too. They are cheap and filling. 2 out of 3 meals the last 2 weeks have been potato-based as I lack the funds to purchase anything else. Grate them. You have hash browns, chop them. You have home fries, boil and mash that smashed potatoes, throw some cheese and some herbs and you are good to go. My 2.5-year-old eats like a champ. When she wants to. Her favorite thing in the world one night won't work again for weeks. She's done this with pasta, rice, chicken, mac and cheese, every fruit and vegetable ever grown for human consumption. Basically anything you can easily make, buy a large quantity of and keep in the fridge she will love and then reject as soon as she senses we have a lot of it. The one guarantee in life though is that she will always eat my garlic mashed potatoes. She has never rejected them. It can be on her plate for a week straight and she will eat it. And once she starts eating, it's just a matter of putting other food on her plate and keeping your hands clear while she clears her plate. Potatoes for the win, every time. You can bake ham, you can make fries, you can cube them and make breakfast potatoes, you can cut the little ones, or even the big ones, so they're like wedges, and bake them up to make them nice and crispy on the outside and perfectly on the inside. You can crush them, you can mash them and make mash with them, you could even make a potato cake. I know I'm missing some but holy shit, potatoes are great, man. I don't really like potatoes. I'm diabetic since I was about 1 year old, and back then in the hospital, or kindergarten or whatever, they always fed me potatoes. Oh, you can calculate good with them and they got good carbs and are good for diabetics, so I got potatoes about 6 times per week. Nowadays I sometimes eat mashed spuds or baked ones, sometimes boiled potatoes, but I don't really like them no more. Besides the obvious slaughter reference, fries, tots, baked, hash, au gratin, scallop, hasselback, poutine, country. They are easy to grow, little maintenance, keep for long periods, they taste good, they go with ranch, ketchup, sour cream, butter, cheese, onions, chives, garlic, oil, truffle oil, chocolate. Have you had a potato skin with all the fixings? They are delicious. They're the most versatile plant we have. You can bake, boil, mash, fry, stew, ferment, and eat them raw. They're a food, a drink, and a fuel source. They're calorie-dense and can grow just about anywhere. They'll be a staple food on our first colonies off-world. If dogs are man's best friend, then I propose that potatoes are man's second best friend. You can barbecue it, boil it, broil it, bake it, sauté it. There's potato kebabs, potato creole, potato gumbo, pan-fried, deep-fried, stir-fried. There's pineapple potato, lemon potato, coconut potato, pepper potato, potato soup, potato stew, potato salad, potato and potatoes, potato burger, potato sandwich. That's about it. They are extremely versatile and filling, can be used as a main or side dish, and they are cheap. On a budget, an entire week's menu can feature them and not be boring if you know how to cook them and add the right accoutrements. Cheese, chili, sliced tomatoes, chives and many other toppings can be added to have baked potatoes. They can be served this way with the toppings for parties to add your own, like taco and pizza parties, very inexpensively to feed a large group. Personally, I prefer the toppings on potatoes for entertaining. It's far easier clean up. Then there's sweet potatoes, but I could go on all day, lol. Potatoes can become anything, like fries. Ugh. I love fries. They come in different shapes and sizes, and all have their own personality, taste. I love dipping them in different sauces too. The best fries are the ones that don't need a sauce, but it's whatever you prefer overall. I could go on, but we don't have time for that. Potatoes are a huge comfort food for me. I eat them on special occasions since your girl will get fat if she eats them every day. There's something I grew up with, like going to McDonald's or when I baked them with my mom. Fun memories.